Hello, everyone. If you don't know by now, I'm Angelica. Um, First and foremost, to start off this video, I would like to say that Miss Troy is one of the most amazing professors that I've had throughout my years at Virginia State. Well, year. Um, she basically forced me to talk in the class in the beginning of the semester, and that made me feel more comfortable to actually talk in her class and communicate. And it made me feel like I could honestly communicate with others, with the rest of my peers, because I do have an issue with that. um, I enjoyed everybody in the class. Everybody made the class enjoyable, made it funny. I enjoyed being around y'all because that class was 2 hours and 50 minutes long, and honestly I don't think I could have made that without y'all. So first question is, what have I learned in cultural diversity? I already knew that not everybody is the same, but the cultures do share similar traits. Like, for example, with the presentations that we did with our different populations, I don't remember who had it exactly, but it was the Latino and Latina community, and it was the Asians that they had like similar family structures where the males had the most power over everybody, and the females basically had to work the home, had to help around the kitchen, had to help watch the children. Like, I don't think I ever realized that, honestly, until that was brought to my attention. I also learned, I wasn't surprised by this, but I also learned that basically half of the Arab community is not only Muslim, but they're Christian. Like I said, it didn't surprise me because, well, never mind, because I can't say it. But I did learn that, and I thought that was interesting. It just didn't surprise me. I also learned that the Latino community is the largest community in the United States, which honestly I thought it was the African Americans or the Asians. I didn't even think of the Latino community being such a bigger than the African American community. But I feel like Latinos are the larger minority because they are able to come over from Mexico, and I don't think anybody really wants to travel that far from Africa. That's just my opinion. The next question: how will I implement the concepts into my profession? Um, well, honestly, when I was in maybe, I think it was my senior year in high school, I chose, not, well, I didn't choose it at this time, but I wanted to be a social worker, and I wanted to open up my own practice, but I wanted to open up my own practice for African Americans because I knew the African American community did not really want to take part in mental health because they normally shame it, they repress it because it's it comes from generations of, what is it? It comes from the generations of, you'll be all right. We've been through so much. You should be okay. You got food and water, and you got a place to live, and all that. And I don't think that they see that as a much bigger problem than that. So I wanted to open it up for them specifically just for them and only have African American workers. Cause, cause I looked up some statistics and it was like 80% of social workers are Caucasian females. So I've seen now that I have to be more diverse in who I pick if I do choose to open up my own practice, so nobody feels left out, so everybody will be comfortable, not just African American people. Um yeah, and I need a variety of people working there. How have my perceptions changed? Well, I don't think that my perceptions have changed much. I've just got more of an insight because I knew white people had done everybody wrong, but I didn't realize how much wrong they did to themselves. And I can only really speak off of what happened with the Jewish community. When I went to the Holocaust Museum, just walking around and seeing what they had done, it kind of opened my eyes. Like, I had been to the Holocaust Museum before, but I never like really looked into what had happened with the with what happened during the Holocaust. Like, the first time I went, I was just looking at everything. Like, if it had words, I didn't read it at all because I wasn't interested. But actually going there and going with my aunt who was reading everything, I was gonna do the same thing I did the first time, honestly, and just look at everything. But I was just going to look. But then I started reading and I started to realize how bad everybody did the Jews just because they weren't the same as everybody else. And what really caught my eye in the Holocaust Museum was this picture of a Jew being hung. And honestly, I never really thought of any other race being hung but the African Americans. And I only say that because those are the pictures that I see the most. I see African Americans being hung, being burned, and all that, but I just never really thought about seeing the Jewish community being hung. Along with the Holocaust Museum, the paper that we just did, the policy paper, I had the death penalty, and I was looking at the history of the death penalty, and I can't remember what century it was, but you could get killed. You could get the death penalty if you were married to a Jew. Like, if you had relations or anything with a Jew, you could be killed just because of that. And I didn't really think that was fair, and that kind of really amazed me when I first saw it. I was just like, you can be killed for loving a Jew. So that was amazing to me. I do have white friends, but I still think that the Caucasians aren't the best race because they did so much, even to themselves. So I don't really think they're I don't think that they're the best. What components what components of the course do I think will benefit me? Well, I think awareness will benefit me. Just being aware of my own biases and my own reactions to things, how I handle things, and knowledge, knowing about the different cultures, what they do, how they do it, and everything. And because I don't really know everything, I do want to get to learn more about these different populations, and I have learned a little stuff from the book and what was presented, but I feel like I need to look more into things. And of course, I will definitely be looking more into things because I do love learning about different cultures and what they do and how they do it. So I will be doing that on my own time. And I'm going to start doing that, and I'm going to start with the African American community so I can go more in depth with that. So yeah, again, this was one of the best classes that I had this semester. I really enjoyed Miss Troy, and I enjoyed everybody in the class. And if I could do it all over again, of course, I would pick this class.